At 6:02 a.m., I stood in wool socks at my gate, while a woman in a pastel blazer pointed at my lock and told a cameraman to roll two guys raised bolt cutters like they were about to fix history with hardware, and she announced real proud that my road belongs to the community by tradition. Two sheriff's units crunched up the gravel, a deputy read from my deed, and the whole group went quiet the way a classroom goes quiet when the answer on the board isn't what the teacher expected. That paper said every inch of Bear Track Road, all 2.3 miles of it from the county blacktop to my fence, wasn't theirs. It was mine fee title. No easement recorded for Pine Hollow Bluffs. I'm Evan, and if that sounds like the end of a story, it was actually the opening bell. I moved up here to be done with committees and color charts and neighbors who measure grass with a ruler. After my divorce, I promised myself no more fluorescent meetings about whether my porch light was too cafe. No more people with clipboards at dawn. So when I found this A-frame outside Ash Fork in Silver Pine County, I fell for it. Like a first crush. Cedar siding wraparound porch, a well that tastes like rain. Solar that hums when the sun hits right, and a hand-painted sign on my gate that said, private road, access by permission only, peace in 4 words. 3 days and someone knocked at exactly 6:00 a.m. And there she was, Marjorie Kane, hair-sharp smile, sharper measuring tape around her neck like a medal, handing me a pink citation for a hose color violation and a glossy packet with the HOA logo like a luxury brand. I told her I wasn't in her. HOA, she told me community is a feeling. Took photos of my truck and license plate and set orange cones across my road with a laminated sign that read, HOA Safety Audit, Road Closed. You ever have one of those moments where you laugh because the alternative is putting your fist through drywall? Yeah, that happened. The paper storm started the next day. Grass at 275 inches mailbox, not pearl white unauthorized gate, each with a QR code and a number that looked invented. And I reminded myself I came here to be the best version of me, not the loudest. So I printed my deed, highlighted my parcel boundary on the assessor map, wrote a polite, non-association notice like a well-raised man does, and delivered coffee and paperwork like peace offerings. She glanced, smiled, said deeds are interpretive, and floated off, which is how you know you're not in a disagreement. You're inside someone else's script. Then the pressure found the cracks. A health inspector and an environmental tech poked around my septic and left orange flags, like a tiny parade in my grass. A letter asked for an access plan. Based on road grades I didn't measure, another said my porch light's lumens weren't neighborly. And in town, strangers with tired eyes told me the resort needed my cooperation, or people would lose jobs. The timing was surgical. Grocery line, hardware aisle, post office. Each story different, but tuned to the same note. You know what I mean, day 11. I ran into Walt Hargrove, a retired surveyor who can smell a plat map from a block away, and he took me to his garage, where the walls were rolled paper and dust, and he laid out the old mining hall route with a pencil, like he was tracing a vein of gold. Lot A. Road, he said, company went belly up. State took it, bank. Took it from the state. Bank sold the whole bundle, and that deed put the road into your fee title. Then he tapped the exact line on Book 447, page 122. No recorded easement to Pine Hollow Bluffs. Their platted streets stop at Sagebrush Lane. They've been using your gravel because no one told them they couldn't. Being right tastes strange when it's mixed with the knowledge that people have been driving your road, like it was public because it was easy. I hired a property attorney, Tessa Boyd, who talks like a scalpel cuts, neat and necessary, and she filed a notice of trespass with a clear fee schedule. Not because I wanted money, but because paper with numbers gets taken seriously. She drafted a license for emergency-only access, so fire and EMS could come through any time, and she told me to document everything. Timestamps, audio, video, body cam, incident numbers. Let the paper carry the weight. Keep your voice low. Then came the bolt cutters. Marjorie marched up at dawn with a notary, a cameraman, and a folder titled Community Access Recognition Agreement. Not an easement, she said. Just a friendly acknowledgement of how we've always done it. The kind of form that makes inspectors relax. And when I told her I wouldn't sign a document that turned a habit into a right, she warned me they'd seek an emergency injunction. And for once, my voice didn't shake when I said, "Please do." Deputy Miles Ortega read from my deed in the driveway that Friday. Told her tradition isn't a property right, and made the cutters go back into the truck. But the damage of rumor travels faster than a patrol car. Clients emailed to pause contracts until your legal situation is settled. Business owners looked at me like I was contagious. And at my kitchen table, I had a 5-minute stare at the wood grain and the ache of an old story, the one where I'm the difficult guy. Then I stapled the body cam number to a fresh packet and kept going. We walked bear track with the fire chief and gave him the gate code, posted signs with statute citations, so even phones went quiet to read, and Tessa filed for a temporary restraining order and drafted a declaratory judgment so a judge could say what the paper already said. Marjorie doubled down, emails full of words like public necessity and economic harm, calls about the greater good, and a clubhouse event set for 7:00 p.m. Wednesday to restore normal access and bill the neighborhood for legal costs caused by a hostile property owner. I showed up with a clear plastic bin so everyone could see the truth before I even opened it. Deed assessor map with the fat yellow line chain of title screenshots with timestamps. A flash drive labeled body cam, Ortega, and right on top, the emergency-only license with the fire chief's signature, because reason never hurts your case. She slammed the gavel, said they'd be restoring access that night, floated the special assessment, and I asked for 3 minutes and a 40-second clip. A guy in a golf shirt shrugged like fair is fair, so I plugged in the drive and let the room watch itself. The bolt cutters, Marjorie's Facebook voice, Deputy Ortega reading Book 447, page 122, and the cutters going back down. You could feel the air change when paper stops being abstract and starts being a mirror. Tessa served the TRO at the table and read the first sentence because words are heavier when you hear them out loud. Defendant and those acting in concert with her are enjoined from accessing or directing access across Bear Track Road without a recorded right. And a board member named Rick turned pale and said, "You told us the easement was recorded." It was supposed to be a formality, she said, and someone by the coffee urn said, what half the room was thinking. That's not how any of this works. Deputy Ortega stepped to the mic and read the judge's order slow and steady, told Marjorie any further entry would be trespass subject to arrest. And when she reached for the gavel, like it could undo the sentence, the secretary slid it away and called a vote of no confidence. Hands went up, careful then fast, and that's the moment I stopped the tape in my head. The exact second power leaves a hand, and the room realizes how it's always been is a story, not a statute. I didn't gloat. I didn't grin. I didn't meet her eyes to win some private contest. I handed the deputy a copy of the gate code for fire, and EMS picked up my bin and walked out under the old board president's photos, thinking how community gets used like a magic word. Say it enough times, and you can trespass with a smile. But real community looks like the fire chief having the code a surveyor tapping a line so a stranger doesn't get eaten, and a man holding his boundary without turning mean. I know some folks think I should have compromised for convenience, opened the road because families need an easier turn, and I know others think I should have sued everyone with dust on their bumpers and salted the earth with damages. I hear both sides, I do, and here's the question I'm still chewing on. Driving home with dust floating in the headlights. When does a habit become a right? And when does a right start looking like selfishness if you hold it too tight? If this story hit a nerve, tell me why. Drop your take on tradition versus title, whether community can rewrite a line by chanting long enough, or where you've seen a gavel come down on a bad script. And if you've got a neighbor war of your own, I'm all ears. Like, comment. So more folks find this, subscribe if you want more true first-person dramas that cut out right when accountability lands. And tell me in the comments, who was right here, who was wrong, and what would you have done if it was your road?